before I got my 3070, I played Cyberpunk, which is, it's a rough game, but I played that at 15 to 20 frames per second for a while, and then I just stopped because it was bad. And then I got the 3070, and it's actually really smooth.
I played Witcher 3 like that. My GPU hit 120 degrees at one point.
Shit.
Oh, man. Isn't that when you're supposed to just rig up a tub of mineral oil and just sink your whole computer in it?
Just cooked in there.
Yeah.
I saw one of those computers in my younger days when I was at a LAN party. Some guy from ATI had brought his computer in a fish tank.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
And I was like, "Why did you carry all that here?"
My buddy had a sweet. He pretty much just bought a really, really nice motherboard and set the whole thing up in like a.
Oh, we have a land and air chassis this time.
That's.
I think I want to take on air chassis first.
It's so cool because it's a very pixel based game, but like it has like a certain look to it.
Yeah, the look and feel is incredible, and obviously only Rad can speak to how the clickiness of things work, but visually speaking,
yeah,
they've hit it on the nail. Like, it's probably easier to manage graphics overall, which allows for the lighting. The lighting is incredible. As far as I'm concerned, you just look at the spotlights in the night. There's a couple of things to fix, like lights appearing through waves, which obviously should happen. But
right.
distant explosion are fantastic. And the map in the middle, I think everybody will agree. The map in the middle is just the best map you ever had, ever, in any game, period.
It really is just good.
So hilariously ironic to me, watching all these real-time ray tracing, crazy games that are coming out that just look like real life. And then a lot of these really successful games are very cartoony. Valheim because
people can actually fucking play them.
Yeah, like good frame rates. Like I think Valheim I was not interested in initially, and then someone got me to play it.
We have 3 shield islands.
No 2 shield, no air combat. Oh well. It's okay. People will get to see a slightly better quality explosion with this video.
Oh yeah.
But guys, one thing we notice, solo play, like this is very, like I said earlier, it's very self-contained. 4 island, no enemy, no pressure. But solo play with all the islands, enemy carrier going on, is a pre-planning heaven. But the difficulty will definitely be micromanaging everything while under pressure. Whereas multiplayer, the difficulty it's plainly obvious to see the difficulty will be corporate coordination between players, but the efficiency gain on everything you can do at the same time will just be monumental.
Yeah.
$1,500 meters for safe from AA, as far as we can see.
Huh. Hey, Sergio, if I see it looks like you're trying to talk or something, there's audio coming out. We don't hear. I don't.
No, I was just trying my PTT here.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, your name was lit up like you were trying to talk.
I was just trying the key.
How's it going?
Yeah, great. How's everything with you guys?
Hell, you got video up.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm watching.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's going amazing. It's overall the playtest is very limited, so 4 days is a bit much. I don't expect Rad to stream for another full day.
No, probably not.
Yeah. No, probably not.
But yeah, I think all the feedback. Like, give Rad a temporary honorific title because he's been amazing. I think
That's awesome,
he
man.
transferred all of the feedback from everybody and the feedback back to the devs.
Cool. Yeah, it's awesome. It's so critical at like this stage.
There's obviously thing we like. It's probably too late. Like spotting aircraft. Like right now, it takes we timed it. This aircraft took 1 minute 28 seconds to launch.
Is that a UAV, right?
Yeah, they're all drones.
Yeah.
The helicopter, strangely enough, takes longer to launch.
Is that spool up time on deck, or is that more
Oh, whoops.
Oh, it's the
some
time.
arbitrary?
It's the time from the hangar up the magnet, up the elevator, all the way to actual takeoff.
Just that whole launch sequence.
Yeah.
Can you accelerate time?
Nope.
No, there's no time dilation.
Oh, okay.
Which actually
But the carrier, to compensate, can go up to 130 knots, I think is our record.
Yeah, we broke 130.
It's insane.
That's fast.
And the range is so insane, like it wouldn't really matter, because even if you're far away from an island with your main carrier, you still have the time to send your long-range scout, send combat air patrols, and do anything else.
Oh, I had no idea you could do this. I guess that's what you guys were talking about in chat when you said you could go around the ship, huh?
Oh yeah, the crew quarters, everything is modeled.
Really?
Huh. There's no down below. There's land vehicles.
Huh.
And obviously, that's just a nice little thing to have, because for all intent and purpose, there's no point in players leaving the bridge. There's nothing you can do outside the bridge.
Right.
So it's just cool.
More cinematic in a way.
Yeah, well, it makes the ship feel more real.
Yeah.
Like, and functional in a way.
Yeah. Not so much of where you play a lot of RTSs and it's always that top-down view. It feels like you're there.
Yeah, and the tank is half the size of the command structure because you need to fit units on a map.
Right. Huh.
I think, what was it? Of the few games that had decently sized unit compared to their command structure, I'd say Homeworld and Supreme Commander.
Which Homeworld?
Deserts of Karak, mostly.
Dude, I love that game.
Oh, it's the best.
The original Homeworld was also pretty good for like sense of scale.
I've never played the actual space one, but I played that.
Oh man, it's amazing.
Which one? The space one?
Yeah.
What's it called?
All of
That's
them.
like my favorite RTS.
Homeworld.
That's just Homeworld.
Get yourself Homeworld remastered collection. It's Homeworld
I need to.
1 and 2 remastered, and there's also
like 30
Homeworld. It used to be called Cataclysm, but it's called something else right now.
Yeah, I'm aware of all of them. I just never grabbed that. There's a really cool one in that kind of genre that I'm watching.
The third one coming out.
You guys have heard of Falling Frontier?
Yeah, that's cool as well.
Yeah, that's like.
And also, there's new Homeworld coming soon.
Yeah, there's the third one.
Homeworld 3.
Oh, that's really cool.
Falling Frontier, you said? I'll look it up.
Oh, Falling Frontier looks fantastic. Like, really cool mechanics.
It's not much Homeworld, but it looks to be like a realistic take on space combat with a lot of logistic management.
Yeah. Yeah, you have like faster than light travel and
really and off topic there's the Homeworld 3 teaser, and it's absolutely amazing. I love it.
Check that out, man. Yeah, it's a really cool series. I just never for some reason played the first one.
The story is absolutely amazing in Homeworld games.
I liked the desert one. It was neat.
The Karak was real good.
Deserts of Karak is a direct prequel to the first Homeworld.
Yeah, and I loved it.
Chronology.
Yes.
Yeah, I gotcha. That makes sense.
If you want to play them chronologically, you should play. This is correct. Homeworld 1, Homeworld Cataclysm, and Homeworld 2.
Right.
Well, Cataclysm is kind of a spin-off, but it still connects the stories.
All right. Since Rad here is a bit of a cruise missile addict, you're gonna see great explosions. Oh wait, he's using the gun. Never mind.
Yeah. I'm just gonna send like 20 rounds down range because it looks good.
Can we get a brat?
There you go.
Wow, that's really neat.
Carrier's moving, so accuracy is down to hell, but we did test it. If you slow down the carrier, the accuracy increases dramatically.
It becomes like you're launching missiles that are super fast.
Oh, you're pretty close.
What's the icons on the top?
That's
armor
the
units,
different,
right?
yeah, different modules you have.
Weaponry and modules, yeah.
So the one you're on right now is guns.
One I'm on right now is the camera,
Or the
and then you
Yeah.
can use that camera
On
to
the-
call in
On the left, you
missiles
see
from the
meters.
carrier.
Yeah, on the left, you see meters timing down. That's the distance the missile is from the target. And boom.
Is this the weekly High Fleet Waiters? High Fleet Waiters.
You found us.
What?
Yes. That is the
Oh,
official
good.
name.
This is the weekly support group. Very good.
Yes, exactly.
I needed this.
We call that the Microprose Anonymous.
Yeah, for everybody's
Before I got my
everybody
before I got my
withdrawal
37.
from something they never tried yet.
It's coping mechanism.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm here to give you all treatment by showing you carrier command gameplay.
I'm starting to get a feeling Carrier Command's gonna be the first one released. Just saying.
This or that game where you have those little spaceships.
Oh, High Fleet.
Yeah, I feel.
Yes, Hyperfleet.
High Fleet is meant to be coming out next month if it doesn't get delayed.
I'm
Really?
really looking forward to that one personally.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know more about it. I actually don't know as much about this one.
Q2 ends next month, last time I checked.
Right.
June 20th or 21st. Well, it depends.
The art style like instantly drew me in. Before I even knew it was going to be published by Microprose, I was watching.
Yeah.
Make sure you go on the Carrier Command channel. By the way, the screenshots are way better quality than the stream, obviously. Because
Yeah.
visually speaking, this is stunning. It's just that the stream right now
For sure.
having an issue. It's not Rat's fault, it's the hotel's fault. But right now you see the camera. Sorry, the camera has a bit of a smoky layer due to the distance. If you look at the explosion through the carrier deck at the distance, they still look very good. Like the distance drawing on the explosions and stuff is very good.
Yeah, once that missile gets close enough. Oh, so that's a stationary target, and if we zoom in close enough,
Might be unpopular.
See the
but I
missile
like how
tracking.
the camera view looks pixelated on the stream.
What year is Carrier Command 2 supposed to be set, like tech-wise?
Future years.
Ah, does
In
that mean we're going to
the
get the
future.
fleet co-op system?
I don't know that they said anything specific, to be honest. I don't know if we'll know anything specific. We just know it's a future tech.
Yeah, so that's why like a lot of the aircraft are kind of the UAV lens.
Hey.
It's like just like the style they're going for.
UAVs? Is that a motherfucking Ace Combat 7 reference?
Oh. No, that's
Dude, that goddamn final drone is the one thing I hate the most in existence of flight sims.
Welcome, new users,
Really?
to the weekly High Fleet support group.
I didn't even know this was a... Hey, I'm just passing through on the way to my F-14. By the way, has anyone noticed that the voice thing in the channel has just moved up, like to the very top?
Yeah, I just noticed that. Sergio, is that intentional?
Yeah, I think he's
Yep.
messing with it.
Like, hey, watch us!
This is good because it means people will hop in and
Yep.
engage. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's the idea. That's the idea. Since we
So-
now have guys showing off some of the games, or at least Carrier Command 2, it would. I hope it's getting their attention.
So what game is this?
Carrier Command 2.
I've never played this. Is it good? Well, I'm assuming it is.
I mean,
I'm typing.
I mean, I'm the only one right now in this chat that has access at the moment.
Well, what am I
It's
talking about? Microprose has never made a bad game. Or is this Microprose?
I mean,
Yeah, this is Microprose. That's why it's in the.
My-
The weirdest part is I'm pretty sure I played the original back in the early 2000s on a Commodore 64 I saw in a museum.
look at this.
Museum.
Museum, yeah. What is that?
Yeah, it's a game from 1988.
Yep.
It's
And
got
then there was
heritage on it.
like a 2012 version. That was
By yeah, it was by Bohemia Interactive, and it's not the same thing.
yeah.
So-
It was.
Let's put it
I'm
this
not
way.
ashamed to admit
Does
I'm
it have
Indian.
that patented Bohemia jank? Like that
Bohemia.
very specific kind of jank that all Bohemia games have.
Yeah, that's
Kind
accurate.
Of, but that was like a super Bohemian junk.
Are we allowed to talk about Spectrum Holobyte games? Since they were bought out by Microprose. Because on the topic of
I don't-
Microprose never
I
making a
don't
bad
see a
game,
rule against it, unless you're gonna go off on like.
Top Gun Fire at 1 for the PS1 was kind of crap.
I mean-
Okay, just in terms of like chat rules, just the same as the
Yeah.
rules for the whole server. Just be polite against people in general. I don't
The
think
PC
we care.
The PC version was fantastic, but the PS1 was just like a worse Ace Combat, I think.
I mean, no one's immune. Like, my only concern right now is, can I buy this game physical? And if yes, is there a manual that's about 2,000 pages long?
Are we getting the big box?
It's actually
I
actually,
keep hearing
yeah.
people saying it's Microprose. It's gonna come with a giant, massive paper manual, right?
I mean, it has to.
Gotta.
I actually have
Gotta.
a copy of F-14 Fleet Defender, and yeah, the manual for that thing is just massive.
Falk.
I remember when Microprose just got refounded, there was an interview with the current CEO, and he was like, "We're bringing back manuals." And that's the only thing I remember from that fucking interview.
Before I got my
Did you just say that
3070,
for
I
real,
played
man? I need to
Cyberpunk.
find it.
Before
Yeah, that I can
I
confirm.
don't remember that. I know
Oh,
what
but-
interview you're talking about, but I don't remember.
Screw games. We're gonna be selling manuals.
Okay, here's the real question though. How much does a big box, like one of the old big boxes, actually cost to produce?
I think I have a copy of US Navy Fighters. I have a big box, and it retailed in the UK for like £40. Like it's on the original label. So if that's like like 60, 50 US dollars.
Yeah. I
So-
know from what I've heard in the general industry, it really depends on kind of the aesthetic quality that the production goes with. They can
I mean,
really vary. For like even like music albums, you could just have that like simple plastic and cover, and then some go really detailed.
I think
There's a huge margin of cost there.
Yeah.
I think a YouTuber called Ahoy did an actual video on the concept of a big box, like
Yeah.
and he can make anything sound interesting. I think Ahoy, he does.
He really
Because-
can.
I'm not familiar with it though.
He used to do Call of Duty reviews, or guides, but now he does like general gaming stuff.
So, since this is the High Fleet support group, have you guys seen in the devs High Fleet gameplay when he actually triangulated where the fleet was to launch nukes at it?
Yeah, I've seen that.
I just hit nukes and I'm happy.
Yeah, so
Simple needs.
your second command is like, no, don't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah, just watch me.
I mean, I downloaded a mod for Strike Fighters 2 that I think had a nuclear bomb, and the bad part is that the NPCs could use it, so you'd just be on like a routine attack over Vietnam. Like you expect them to just use bombs, and then all of a sudden you hear like a boom, and then red crown, mission complete, RTB.
I see. MacArthur got his nukes.
Hey, Rad, do you have hotkeys for the Go codes, or did you see them anywhere on the console?
I don't think there is any. Let's check.
So what do you think's the best DC,
Nah,
not
doesn't
DCS,
look like it.
Microprose flight simulator?
XCOM Apocalypse.
Nah, that's easy. That's Falcon 4.
Yeah, it probably
Yeah,
has
say
to be Falcon 4.
Falcon's the most name-worthy.
Yeah.
Even
I mean,
people who are not really familiar with a lot of kind
Flight
of
sim.
peripheral games in flight sim genre, because it's really not that big. Everyone like knows what Falcon is.
I remember the manual.
Actually, do remember in Top Gun: Fire at Will, the PC version, one of the characters actually says that's just like in Falcon 3.
So, Falcon series are the only ones of Microprose I actually played at the time.
Falcon 5 when Microprose.
And Falcon 4 is still very active. You still see a lot of people
Yeah,
playing it.
Oh, they're very active.
So you see there, that's one of the doubtful pathfinding moves. The last
Yep.
SEAL decided to go around the bend. But mind you, maybe he's onto something.
Oh,
maybe.
that's what he's doing, huh?
He wanted to go for a nice swim.
He wanted to take the scenic route.
By the way, are we guys Navy or Air Force fans? Navy.
Why not
Space
both?
Force.
Yeah, why not? Why not both?
Yeah, we're all Space
I'm
Force.
in the Navy.
Helicopters.
So of course you're an Air Force fan then, right?
Obviously, yeah.
I-
Fuck
No
the Navy.
waiting on the other
Fuck the
side.
Navy.
I'm kind of a Navy fan. I mean, I just love Su-33s, F-14s, F-A-18s. F-15s are cool, but like, but I don't know. There's just something about like the routines of naval aviation that are just really cool. Like landing is like
Yeah. I
That's
completely
always
agree with you.
I ain't on a carrier, but I ain't on a carrier,
but
but I'm on a destroyer and we'll deploy with carriers part of their strike group and fucking seeing F-18s go across deck, or when the ship is
Yeah.
standing playing guard and they fly right over, and it's just like.
I definitely prefer the Legacy Hornet over the Super Hornet, because the Super Hornet, I just see they did the F-14 dirty.
Yeah, Congress was trying to, or not Congress, but the Navy was trying to push like a super Tomcat, because that
Yeah.
light
Super
frame was
Tomcat.
super fucking good, and
Man.
then Congress was like, no, for
Man,
some
don't
reason.
want cool shit.
Expensive.
Much
When-
different roles though, like from the Super back to the Legacy. They were really kind of almost a different aircraft in a lot of ways. Everyone says, "Oh, it has worse performance," but I mean, it's really meant for a slightly different mission set than the Legacy.
I don't know. I do also like. If you look back at old photos of carrier groups, you had like F-14s, A-6s, A-7s, E-2s, S-3s on the deck, but now it's just oops, all FA-18Es.
I mean, from a practical standpoint, that makes sense, because then you only
Yeah.
have to use parts for one flight model instead of like.
Yeah,
eight.
it does, but it's not as cool. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
A5
it's
A5
not as-
Vigilantes.
It doesn't look nearly as cool. Like seeing a fucking an EA6 next to an F-14, it's like that's classic. That's classic. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, RC5 Vigilantes. They were pretty cool, weren't they? When were they taken out of service? 1980.
I don't remember. I'm not a Cold Warrior. I'm an Afghanistan war, not Afghanistan actually, because that shit ended before.
I do remember seeing one in a cameo in the final countdown, in like the very opening scene. Like you can see one off to the side, an RC5.
Nice.
was
Now I have
actually
to watch that
really
again.
Excited to hear the the F-15 get a new block version. That was really cool.
Wait, the C or the E?
What? I don't even know what it's being called right now. It's like the UX.
EX.
EX. There you go. Yeah, I don't know what it's basically in development right now. So they're doing flight testing.
They want to replace A-10 with it.
Dude, I don't think anything can replace the A-10, to be honest.
No matter how hard Congress may try.
What
No.
about A-11
Mm,
with two
there is-
Gal-18s?
What? Okay, I actually.
I'll go
I
backwards.
have always argued that the F-35, and I will always say that the F-35 is a very misunderstood aircraft, and everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, it can't dogfight, and it can't do what the A-10 is," and it's really not meant to do any of that. I think it's a bloated program, but there's one thing it would never do, and that's A-10 close air support. It's never going to do
So,
it. Period.
nothing can replace A-10 CAS the way the A-10 does it, but everything else does its own different A-10 mission, or its own CAS mission.
If you want something to loiter slow overhead, it's the A-10. For
I
the
was-
US, at least.
I would say the F-35 would be great if the B model wasn't integrated into the program. Like, that should have been a separate aircraft.
You're
It's
completely correct.
it's interesting take because I'm Canadian, and the replacement of our air fleet is a huge topic for years, and so much money has been spent on figuring out which aircraft might replace. And the big debate is we already sunk so much in the joint program for the F-35,
Right.
but at the same time, can it do the multi-role fighter role that Canada needs?
You
Because
guys
we
are
cannot.
still in, though, right?
Yeah. Yes.
As far as, it's the UK that is pulling out most of their purchases, I believe. They already have some delivered, but
Because they're supposed to be there's a couple of companies, and there's going to be sorry, I don't know the exact term, the contest or whatever, for which one's going to win the contract in Canada. But the problem is always the question of either we already sunk so much money in the F-35 that we need it, we are going to take it, but since our air fleet is so small in comparison, we don't have dedicated like air wings. Like, we cannot have a fleet of A-10s, for example, for close air support. So we need a multi-role fighter that can also do that.
Would it be politically possible for Canada to buy Russian aircraft?
No.
No.
It would not be.
Only outdated ones.
Like,
yeah, they can acquire them, but not basically through official bidding and contracting and stuff.
Because I was going to say, like, maybe an Su-35 or something. Wait, is that an air defense or multi-role, or am I? An Su-30 maybe. That might have been because I know India is basically a lot like allies, but they buy Russian equipment.
Yeah, well, they're in a very different political situation.
It's interesting because they've got a huge hodgepodge of different
Apparently, yeah.
weapons. Like, they had there was an image I saw that was basically a fucking, I think it was a British submarine launching a Russian missile using an American guidance system, or like an American radar system. It's like, what?
Well, wasn't sorry, go on.
It's just like
what you're talking about.
Yeah, like
Uh-huh.
India's got such a huge mix. Like, I think their homegrown fighter is based off the Rafale or something.
The UK, we're
I
using
forget.
the UK, we're using the Eurofighter as our defense fighter.
Yeah, still.
India's carrier
But
looks
shouldn't you
looks like
change to the pound
distinctly
fighter
Russian.
due to Brexit?
I was against Brexit personally, but
Burn.
I just checked. Canada has 3 airplanes in competition right now. It's the F-35, the Gripen, and the Super Hornet.
imagine if the Super Hornet wins.
Tough, man. That's tough.
The
Canada
Rafael
does not have a carrier, do they?
Nope.
Yeah, so there's no the 18 strengths are carrier based. Like, it's a good aircraft, but
wasn't there originally like a separate land and carrier based F-18 like at
there
one point?
absolutely is. There are entire uses for the F-18 that are not just carrier bound. However, the airframe is designed with that heavy landing gear to withstand, landing, takeoff, landing, takeoff.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of weight that doesn't really make sense. For example, the Australians actually ended up cutting off the launch bar, and the hook. They just cut them off, and it caused a really interesting issue. where they had vibration during landing and takeoff, and they couldn't figure it out. And the manufacturer came in to analyze it. And I'm actually, this is directly from a pilot who flew, but I was talking to in person. And this story is pretty well known. But this guy's like, my buddy was on one of those aircraft, did not figure it out. Basically, they had ruined the harmonics of the aircraft, the whole airframe, because it was designed with those bars being part of the landing gear. They're landing, it just started vibrating, and essentially they had to reattach them.
Oh no, it's a new feature. We turned it into a massage chair.
You know, after those long flights, you get a little sore, and you gotta relax after a bit, right?
That's how it works.
It did not cause a crash, but it came very, very close. So they got very lucky, actually.
One of my favorite AUs was is Royal Navy F-14s, because the Royal Navy, we had F-4 Phantoms before, but I was thinking, how cool would it be if we had Tomcats?
Dude, the F-14 was the first model kit I built when I was a kid. And I remember because it looked so incredible.
It does look awesome, like, especially in the early high-vis liveries. Like, the later ones where it's just all grey and stuff doesn't really look too good, but the bright, like, red ones...
Cagbird like F-14s are the best looking planes ever.
They're not lying, though. Spitting straight facts, though.
For some reason, I cannot picture what you're talking about.
Cagbird, it's every carrier air group has a Cagbird, which is the flight leader's plane. It's decked out in the colors and the emblems of that. Yeah. Cagbird F-14s
cool.
are the best looking planes in the group.
Imagine if we actually got the F-111B.
F-111 was looking pretty good.
It looked derpy, like with air-to-air missiles underneath them. Like,
that's why I liked it, because it's like, that looks silly, but then it's an absolute fucking menace.
Apparently, it kind of reminds me of the XF-108's Rapier in terms of role.
Really cool aircraft.
Is it Rapier or Rapier?
I think it
Rapier.
depends on what country you're from.
I mostly hear it as Rapier, but
yeah,
other
Canada as well. Rapier.
I mean, that's a sword, right?
I mean, okay, in French Canada it's une rapière, but
right.
Who cares?
I think Americans can pronounce that.
When people think of like Vietnam combat, they think of things like F4s and like MiG-21s, but no one spares a thought for the F-106s, the F-104s.
Oh, dude.
AD-4s.
Oh, that Starfighter.
Dude, if you say Vietnam, it's the F4 that comes up every time, no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't think.
AD-4. You can't forget the AD-4. At least I think that's where it is.
And the F-105C Scotia Tiger.
Welcome, new user, to the High Fleet support channel.
Yeah, everyone forgets about the Sky Raider, which was the A-10 of its time.
Scout, you're the announcer now.
Hey.
The A1, yeah. Oh, who remembers Fighters Anthology?
What?
Who remembers Fighters Anthology?
What is that from?
Jane's.
Oh. No.
Oh, it was so good. Like, it was basically like... It was kind of like the Strike Fighters of its time. That is to say, mid-level sim.
Oh, so it was... Okay, that's 1997. Yeah. Huh.
I've got it, and it actually works on Windows 10. Like, I don't know what kind of magic programming they did to make it work or so future-proof, but it does work.
Nice.
And it's just a fun, like, casual flight sim to play.
Oh yeah, since we're all talking about different aircraft, I think like the first game that ever landed me for like flight sims was just getting in the Su-25 in DCS. That was the first time that I really got into it and had a PC that could handle a really high quality game. That aircraft will always be in my heart just because of that.
I can smell the nostalgia from here, and it smells delicious.
Oh man. I don't know. I only played Falcon a little bit. Like I definitely played it, but I don't remember it as well. Yeah, it's much more fresh in my memory for sure.
I can't wait for this game to come out. Although I'm mostly excited about the PvP aspect. That's gonna fucking own. I mean, it depends. It's either going to be really short or it's just going to be long-ranged, like air duels. Well, it depends. You only have a certain amount of aircraft on you, so if one side outfights the other, then it's just a matter of picking targets.
I'm looking forward to Sea Power mostly. Or to give. Or
Well,
we need to.
That's
we
what
need to
I'm
say its-
looking for.
Yeah, we need to say its full name: Sea Power: Missile Combat in Naval Combat in the Missile Age.
I
I
hate
can
to be
second that.
biased as admin or Microprose staff, but I'm kind of in that boat. I when I saw the announcement for Sea Power, I was. That's my kind of game.
I do not know what Sea Power is, so.
Sea Power is Cold War era, like naval simulator strategy.
Oh.
Like
Basically,
that shit.
basically Cold
So
War.
basically, a game about what happened if the Cold War went hot. Got it.
Yeah,
It's kind of
and
like
it's
Red.
like super heavy on naval combat, and naval aviation and shit.
I suppose it'll be kind of like Red Storm Rising, but as a video game.
Yeah.
That's the one like I'm most excited for because I'm a like full on naval strategy guy. I fucking love that shit.
I mean, I loved Cold Waters. That was like my sleeper hit of like whenever I first played it. Like, it's just amazing.
I just like that Carrier
my-
Command
my-
2 brought me here, and now I Fleet, Ground Branch,
High
Sea
Fleet.
Power.
Do not forget High Fleet.
Yeah, I'm not forgetting High Fleet. This is the High Fleet support chat anyway, right? But yeah, a lot of these games now are on my radar, and they probably might not have been otherwise. And this is great because Sea Power is a type of game I didn't know I needed. You know, it's now I'm seeing it. I'm like, yeah, I needed to play something like that. It was missing in my life.
It was missing.
One
My
of you guys were talking about Cold Waters. Sea Power is actually from the lead designer of Cold Waters.
Yeah. I was
Oh,
gonna
shit.
mention that. Yeah.
I another thing I didn't know.
I don't know. Did he leave the Cold Waters developer team? Like,
Yeah, he has his own company now. Yeah.
What's it called?
Triassic?
Or can we not ask?
That is. But this is going to be amazing. This is going to be, as I think the kids will say, epic.
Oh my god, you're not that old, Sphere. At least you don't sound that old. Are you old?
Their trailer was amazing for Sea Power too. I really liked it.
I'm 25 years old.
You're not that old.
I'm halfway to 50. It's old enough.
So
It's old enough to call yourself old. Farewell.
Oh, we're halfway there.
Well,
What?
you're almost half my age, so.
yeah. So if we go by age, my first air simulator I really played was the 1996 Hind.
You're gonna hit that island, Doodle. You're gonna hit that
Anyone
island.
remember that thing?
You know what? I think I know what you're talking about.
So you were controlling the Russian helicopter and fighting Mujahideen soldiers everywhere, unloading troops.
Oh.
It was insane. Because
So,
the actual
Microprose game. That was
no, that was not.
No.
But that was just my
Interactive
first simulator.
magic.
hey, Sergio, you mind if I ask you one dev-related question? Just one, and I won't drop it.
You can ask. I may not be able to answer, but shoot.
Very well. Whilst I was checking the stream of Doodle, I noticed that you can't select multiple vehicles at once. Is that yet to be implemented, or is that basically just running around and doing a bunch of clicking and dragging? I'm fine with both. I'm just curious.
I honestly don't know. I cannot tell you because I don't know what the mechanics behind that will be.
Coolios. Right, that was my one question. That was
Yeah,
it.
sorry. I don't have
I'm
it.
not.
Oh,
no, I'm just
You know, since we're on the path of question, it's more of it's going to be written in all the feedback, but it's very important that the devs be aware of this.
Yeah.
We need a way to pet The dog.
Yes, we need to pet the dog.
We need to pet the virus puppies.
Yes.
Yeah, it's super important.
Can we become the dog a la dog mode in Rise of the Triad?
I think.
That's
Oh god,
that would be
that was a
acceptable.
good game. But no, I think. Wait. Doodle, can you control a virus dog? Or whatever the fuck
No.
they're called? No. Well, we need that then. Then we can.
You can only deploy them, but there's no one to
So-
pet them before they die. They just
What I
do their
want-
thing and die.
What I want is like a virus dog on the bridge. That you
You already have
Yes!
a small bridge. Your bridge is gonna be packed to the gills, dude.
with one virus dog. What are you talking about? Do you see how fucking small those things
Sacrifices
are?
must be made.
Sacrifices must be made. I mean,
Yeah,
in that case,
that-
I would prefer. In that case, I would prefer a virus parrot. Somewhere up in the rafters, just.
Hey man, my original idea was to have the cat on deck, so
A cat? I mean, cats are. Well, as long as it's not the black cat. 'cause
hey,
that's
they would
It's
press
cats.
all the buttons. It would make your life a living hell. It'd be awesome.
I'm imagining a cat infiltrating this carrier command center and just jumping on the consoles with all the interactive buttons.
Yes.
Fun fact: in real life, there was such a cat. There was a destroyer that got hit by a couple of Japanese torpedoes, and a large part of the crew got screwed up. But they had also picked up a cat, just a random stray cat from a Chinese port, and that cat literally went by all the wounded sailors and just started basically giving them attention, and it literally made it a morale boost.
That's pretty cool.
I might also mention that the cat had lost a leg in the attack and was still going around being a total badass.
There's so many stories of abandoned animals making their way into the military. Like, for example, in the Afghan campaign, last 20 years, a lot of dogs come back from Afghanistan. It's very hard to do. But
My favorite one was I think it was like in World War II, a Polish or in the I forget when
The
a Polish.
bear! The bear!
Yeah, the bear.
Oh,
Wojtek.
The bear!
Wojtek,
Artillery
the
bear.
artillery
The
bear.
artillery bear. He only did it like in one battle, though. Should have done it.
You think you're gonna get them all, Rad, with that one? They're pretty spaced
Apparently
out.
8 cigarettes.
Cruise missiles are pretty big.
Yeah, I know.
Fine.
You got it.
Fun fact, by the way, he
That is a
basically
nice
got
one.
old. The bear got really old in Edinburgh Zoo, but his old Polish war buddies would visit him, and what would happen is the Poles would literally just jump into the enclosure and just start feeding him fucking cigarettes and whiskey.
What?
Which, yeah, and
He
it
liked
Did he
cigarettes.
recognize them still?
yes, he did. He totally did.
So it's funny. I grew up in bear country, and bears are extremely smart. I've ran into them at like 5 feet away. I've never really felt too like threatened by a bear, but we had a bear that would come and eat stuff, and like he knew me, and
Was
that
he
was not a
looking?
good thing. It was
Oh.
like he would get like more comfortable with me every time, and finally I had to take a shotgun and just shoot it in the air just to let him know like who was boss, and he never came back.
Wait. Comfortable in the way of just chill, or comfortable in the way
he
of?
would like stand there like 10 feet away from me.
And
Yeah,
it's in, as in, in a way, in a way to show off dominance, or in a way of like, it depends.
Just looking at me.
He's just like, hey, this guy.
Yeah.
There's ominously.
He wasn't threatened by me, and I wasn't really threatened by him, but it was a little too far. Bears are very smart, though.
Yeah, you know what is? Here's a weird thing about bears, though. Apparently, normal bears, grizzly bears, they don't hunt humans. The only bear that is known to actively try and murder humans are polar bears.
Polar bears. That's
Polar
what
bears try to actively hunt everything.
Yeah, well, that's because if you live in the fucking Arctic and you're a massive ass beast, everything that's meat is food, because you don't really have an option otherwise. Yeah, you gotta eat.
I've killed a lot of birds in my time. They're very big and they fly very high and they carry a lot of cruise missiles.
Okay, I was about to say.
Aha, aha, aha.
I was about to get miffed.
See what you did there. Did you just beat yourself again?
Yes, he did.
No.
He nipped himself. Yes, he did.
No.
I
What's
did
that
it on
red
purpose.
flashing button?
I was
Put
gonna
the al-
say, what is that?
I,
Put
I
the
did it
alarm
on
on.
purpose.
Press the alarm. See?
Yeah, speaking
Just-
of like bombers, are the blinder and backfire in the same family? Even though they have the same designation, TU-22.
Fuck if I know.
I don't know.
I am not a
I
smart
don't know.
man.
I'm not a plain guy.
I am but a amateur civilian. Sorry. I try to know as much as I can, but you know.
If it's naval aircraft, I probably know about it. If it's anything else,
Soviet aircraft are pretty cool. Like the MiG-25. That thing is a fast boy. It's literally a brick designed to go fast.
Oh, I see. We're talking about High Fleet again.
Well, that's because High Fleet is dope. Because it makes no sense, and yet it's cool.
Yeah, it's way better than Low Fleet.
I will clap sarcastically, but I'm on push to talk.
I mean, Low Fleet was still better than Ground Fleet.
That's fair.
I don't know. It was definitely Ground Fleet was definitely better than Subterranean Fleet. That was just kind of.
What about?
Oh, but none of these had anything on Submarine Fleet. Because that actually makes sense.
Good. I'm completely lost at this point, guys.
They're memeing.
Think we went on a tangent here.
Oh.
Yeah, it's just landing. It's okay.
He's gonna fall off the edge of the deck.
Fucking cockblock.
Nah. They're on a pretty good timer for land. One thing for anyone that didn't see the streams yesterday and today, just for awareness, Carrier Command is a single carrier with 8 planes and 8 ground units, but the carrier operations really have to be thought ahead, because you see all the time it takes currently to go back to any hangar. Well, while you're doing that, you cannot launch anything. So you're gonna need to cycle your launch and landing operations in a timely manner. So that makes it's super interesting because of things like that.
Look at that thing moving unrealistically along the runway. Fuck.
0 out of 10. Throw it in the trash.
Meanwhile, the World War II solution, let's just attach pontoons to everything.
I mean, if it works, overuse it to the point that it doesn't work anymore.
The LSO jumped off the boat.
So who now?
Landing officer, something officer. Like,
Thank you.
Like, there's just one of those pontoon airplanes coming in. He jumps off the boat, starts swimming towards it, waving around the little light things.
Fuck's sake, dude.
You know,
I love how we're all in awe of an elevator going down.
Even turning. The wheels aren't turning.
The wheels are not turning, no. Oh, they are.
They are.
They are.
They are turning
God.
They are turning way too slow, but they are turning.
Come on
No,
now.
they turn pretty quickly. You guys are just on shitty frame rate. But at 60 FPS, they're turning it.
They got nudged on the railing. Like
The-
now it's 10 out of 10.
Give him a pass on the frame rate. He's on an hotel Wi-Fi.
He is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had to turn it down because at 60 frames it was like pixels.
Yeah, that's
Discord.
For some reason, it sounded like someone was about to do the whole Tim Allen. Oh.
Nah, we could get definitely great quality on a better internet. It's just, it is what it is.
I can't wait for someone to make a mod that replaces those miniguns that are on that with the TF2 minigun.
The heavy going.
It's gotta be the heavy going. Yeah.
Shh, Sasha is asleep.
You just speed up the voice line for a faster firing gun.
That sounds scary. So are you like, how do you unstuck yourself, Doodle? So far,
So you get another
I just
carrier.
did it.
No, go away.
See, I am a master helmsman. Sometimes I beach myself, but I always get myself unstuck.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no real way, like, if you're just going to be parked outside of an island, there's no real way to stop yourself fully. Like, you know,
I
you don't
suppose
have an anchor.
you could like run aground and just like just stop that way.
I do believe you can use the side thrusters to avoid.
Yeah.
I gotta.
There are the side thrusters and all that, but
Why do we
what
not?
there needs to be is a button to like maintain ship's position, because we have side thrusters and all that shit.
Yeah, because you see the currents right now. Look at this; they're pretty massively pushing you northwest.
Do you reckon a fish has been killed by an anchor being dropped on them?
Yes.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely.
When we
Serious damage in the past. Actually.
when we fuck, I forget where we were over. We were waiting for a pier to open up. I forget where, but we had dropped anchor, pulled it up. There was like a fucking chunks of dead sea turtle on it.
Jesus.
Yeah.
There was
Oh,
something
that's
about
sad.
during the Cold War, an anchor. Was it like a underwater communications line or something that it severed? I can't remember.
Yep. That's
Oh,
happened.
lucky.
It was a
There was,
military installation underwater, and it totally messed it up. I can't remember what it.
And
Under the sea.
There's also the fact that sharks regularly attack undersea communication cables for some reason.
Yeah.
Gee, I wonder why. Probably because it pisses them off. Hey, look at this cable. It's in the way.
And literally it will knock out internet in some places.
That's
Oh.
hilarious.
That's not hilarious.
So your internet
No, it
so your
isn't. Shut
internet gets taken out by sharks.
It's revenge.
yeah, for
For
Jaws. For being killed in
Give
Jaws.
it shark isn't calling for dinner.
Poor sharks.
Someone has to come and fix it.
You know, it's
I
always
have eaten shark
it's
before.
yeah, I gotta say, it's always kind of weird. Everybody always hates sharks and thinks they're bloodthirsty animals, but if you actually, like, for some reason, if you train a shark well enough, it'll be actually like a fucking dog and it'll come to you seeking affection.
Meanwhile,
true.
the CIA during the Cold War tried to train sharks.
That's
With
because the
lasers on
CIA
their head, right?
Well, yeah.
Or was
but
that dolphin?
They were able to do it with dolphins.
Sharks with lasers.
They were able to do it with dolphins.
That joke.
Lasers on dolphins?
I kind of like sharks. They just look derpy as hell.
They're cute.
I love
Sharks
sharks.
are cute. I'd love to pet a
So
shark.
I caught a they're not really, well, they are a shark, but dogfish with my bare hands in Florida. And I'm not from Florida originally, but it was a very Florida man picture, if you get the idea.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the. I saw a video of Gordon Ramsay. He went catfish. No, not the horrible kind of
Noodling.
catfish,
Isn't that called
but
noodling?
Yeah, where you grab the catfish by
Yeah,
its
yeah.
mouth and then just
Yep.
drag it up. And he made fish and chips out of it.
Well, all right. Let's make a note. We need a shark tank on our carrier as well to keep a pet shark.
Yeah, exactly.
So we need a dog on deck.
One
We
of the,
need Kevin O'Leary on our on our carrier.
you need who?
Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary.
Oh my.
Oh, the
Ha.
show.
Ha.
No.
Ha.
The
Ha.
fact that I can picture that in my head is sad.
Wait, so so what kind of weapons do Navy personnel have on board, like in terms of small arms?
At
They
least
have a
for the
combo
U.S.
armor.
Navy, at least for the U.S. or if for this or like general Navy.
Yeah, just generally.
By the way, I gotta ask.
So
is there a
I can
sailor-
speak for the U.S. We get M4s, M9s, M240s, M2 Brownings, and some ships still have M16s, and we all get M500s. Shotgun.
so wait,
Does
so-
everyone on
so-
board have access?
to a gun?
Yeah.
No,
I didn't. Yeah, that's
Really?
No.
I was.
no.
the
Why would we?
impression that only
I
a certain
mean,
complement
you
of
know,
Marines
As fucked up
usually
as it
did.
sounds, imagine you're in a ship that's sinking and you can't get out. Rather bite a bullet than slowly watch myself drown. Sorry,
Well,
Miguel.
I mean,
too
Yeah.
fucking bad, I guess.
I know for a fact that on submarines, everything is locked down, and only very specific personnel have like access to even stuff.
The way- So
like, medical
the-
supplies,
the way
weapons,
the way it works is everybody gets trained in how to use them, but
Correct.
only the command master, the duty
Yeah.
guns, duty armor, and CDO have access to the locker.
everything's all
That's-
keyed and only. Yeah, that's right.
And the only people that can maintain them are those that are part of weapons.
So the M9 is still standard issue.
Yeah, it's been standard issue for a while, and it will be for some time because
Because
we're in the
it's-
middle of acquiring the M17. We already have holsters for them, but we have no M17s.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Is it the M17 or was the
It was the
that's what
M17
Marines
M18
went
one.
for, right?
Yeah, M17 M18 whatever 6 hour. That's it.
I do like the Beretta. It's a nice looking pistol, although I do like the lines of the M1911 a bit more.
I mean, as someone who hasn't held a gun in there before in his life, I also like, to try one out for once. But...
I'm a huge 6 Hour fan. I own 3.
Oh, what now?
6 Hour.
It's a company that makes guns.
Six
So,
Hour.
a formerly German company that now entirely moved to the U.S. because big
They're-
contracts.
Really high quality.
Yeah,
When
well,
you-
you know Germans, they're really good at making things that explode violently.
Yeah, and they're really bad at losing world wars.
It's the
I think
Japanese.
all my slides of my pistols have made in Germany. stand.
I mean, they could have won the first one if they didn't start just U-boating everything on the Atlantic, which kind of got the Americans involved. Yeah, that kind of yeah. I mean, the second one was doomed from the start.
Have you guys heard that Colt's been bought out by CZ?
What? Really?
Wow. Got bought by CZ.
No way.
You know, the worst part about that probably means their quality is going to improve.
Yeah, it will do. 2020 Pythons will now be...
merger.
New Pythons will actually be worth buying.
Oh, it's a merger? So either
It's a
this
merger.
means that CZ is going to get worse quality.
Said
It's
Friday
but it's a basically a merger.
has purchased all the shares in Colt Holding. So, yeah, they just bought him out. It's
That's
not as much a
weird.
merger.
Mind you, if I did want a really good revolver, I'd just buy an MR73.
Or any of the several 60-year-old revolvers that are still just...
Yeah.
They bought it for 220 million.
That's not a lot of money, is it?
Nope.
No, it's not.
Wait a minute, what? No, that can't be right.
Colt and Remington have basically died because they let their quality slip.
Well, in Remington's case, wasn't that more Freedom Group's fault?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And this is the quote: CZG has bought Colt, which has been manufacturing firearms since the early 19th century, for 220 million in cash and stocks.
Insane, man.
Yeah, it
The
doesn't
dogs
sound
are
like
on
a
the
lot.
move.
See? Look at the little dog!
I'm surprised. Wow, that's crazy.
I thought you were deploying body bags for
They're
some
so
reason
cute.
originally.
Oh, that is. I didn't even figure out what that was until you said that. That's kind of cool.
See, Dad, we need a way to pet the dogs. These guys.
Do those have bombs
Little
on
snow
them?
tracks on them. They're in the
Because-
snow. They have like little snow tracks on them.
Aw.
So for size comparison, how big are those? They were smaller than that wheel, huh?
You know what?
Just a bit.
He can walk all the way down to the hangar near one of the seals, and you'll
Yeah,
see the approximate size. It should be close to the wheel size or something.
Yeah, we'll once one of these stops moving, I'll
But yeah,
try and get
anyways,
the camera in position.
speaking of small arms, have you guys seen the new vision equipment that the U.S. Army is adopting?
You mean the multispectral?
Yeah, the new multispectral, just
Yeah.
like highlights people, right?
And it's not there yet, but once it is, it's going to be pretty powerful.
Yeah, and I've been looking at the stuff for the other part of the tech, which is the new scopes that are going on the rifles that just actually tell you how to aim in your goggles.
So it's
Yeah,
like video game hoods in real life.
Yes.
I've actually used one in real life, and they are not. I think they are very odd, and they're not intuitive to use. Like a lot of the guys I've talked to said, yeah, sure, put that on a range and you'll be able to hit something, but try doing that under stress in combat. And
It kind of reminds me of after World War One, the U.S. Army had the option of keeping either the the P-17 whatever Enfield, or the M1903 Springfield, and they chose the M1903 Springfield. You know why? Because you could shoot better groups with it at Count Perry.
Exactly.
Because it had a notch sight, whereas the P-17 had a really nice aperture.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
what I will say is, yeah, it is unintuitive to use from everything I've heard.
So I've used well, not real, not on a live range, but in a simulated environment, and they're just very strange. Like you can definitely hit targets, but think of stress and battlefield, and just
And if it fails,
If it fails, yeah, that's always the funny with sites, isn't it?
it's yeah, and that's a big thing about technical complexity. It's like you want something that just works and it's very simple, and you don't have to think about it. And
hey, you know what never fails? Iron sights.
Except when they get bent.
Yeah, sure. But
I don't
It's
know much
about,
other countries, like Red Dots, but there was the whole kerfuffle over EOTechs for a while, but really there was no problem. So it's very funny.
EOTechs
how
are
people-
so meme heavy, though.
Yeah, sure. But the actual issue was never really.
I had a joke. I said to one of my friends that, hey, I'm going to put a 7x inertial scope on my air rifle.
So yeah, they're about the width of the wheel, and about
Yeah.
a third of the height. Man, I have a problem with H sound. Sorry.
Hate.
Height.
I'm always so fascinated. One of my areas I've always looked into is like future unmanned military operations. It's just a very interesting subject.
There was I think in 2003, an Iraqi MiG-25 shot down a US drone. Like that we basically had Top Gun 2, like Top Gun Maverick happening right there and then.
Wait a minute. Before the invasion, back then.
I forget when, but it did happen. If you search MiG-25, it was confirmed.
Shot down a drone.
Yeah, admittedly, I don't think that. Well, actually, I do think the drone was armed with air-to-air stuff, but it was like an early drone, which wasn't really.
Oh yeah, okay, I see. So MQ. Yeah, shot down a Predator.
Have you guys heard how Russians have acquired Sidewinder missiles?
Oh yeah, the one
Yeah,
lodged in the fuselage of like a Chinese aircraft didn't
Yeah,
explode.
it stuck, it didn't explode, and landed with it.
They took it back and then sold it to the Russians, and then they reverse engineered it into the AA-2 or the ATOL. ATOL inbound, drop flare. I remember that from U.S. Navy fighters. That was fun. Let me see. I forget. What was the first one? AA-1 Alkali, AA-2 ATOL, AA-3 ANAB. I can't remember AA-4 and AA-5, but AA-6 was Apex. No, AA-6 was Acrid. 7 was Apex. 9 is... No, give me a second.
He's looking up a list.
We have even more people now in the Hive Fleet anonymous support chat.
He's quite a few people here.
Either there's a lot more people experiencing Hive Fleet withdrawals than I understand, or Carrier Command 2 is also popular. One of these two statements are probably true. Or both.
Well,
I'm just here for the free food.
Where's that?
Oh,
Here,
I
I'll
ate
just
it all.
email you the free food.
He ate it all.
so if I can put something into perspective, if you go to the roles channel up top and you check the number of people that have clicked on each game to be followed, Carrier Command is clearly number 1. So
Was it Carrier Command the first announced?
No.
No.
One thing to point out though, that has actually been deleted and refreshed. I don't know. Sergio would probably know how many times, but those are not representative of anything.
Oh no, but as of it's okay. But as of right now, Carrier Command wins. So I'm just saying.
Carrier Command wins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Put an L on your forehead.
So I
L on...
What were you saying?
So Carrier Command fans be like putting an L on their forehead and saying losers.
Yeah.
I won't tell you which one actually.
to be fair, almost all of us that will play Carrier Command will also play
I didn't even
iFleet.
notice this.
What the hell is this?
The lifeboat.
Can
What
you
if you
deploy the lifeboat?
It's like a interesting.
It looks like one of those tourist boats that you see around the Thames in London.
I
looks
did not even know this was here.
Yeah, we never noticed until now. This is so cool.
You always find something new. Okay, so it's on second deck.
That
That's the
reminds
only
me,
model well
I'm
done.
still pissed that like the Titanic even went to sea with that few lifeboats.
But it was invincible, right?
It was unsinkable, obviously.
Oh, it was unsinkable.
Yeah.
They were just.
Looks like they modeled the interior, but
And I do feel bad for like the 1,500 people who died, but like
I could see buttons to push.
Wait a minute. Whoa, there is actual screens.
Okay.
Oh my God! Final,
There's
we have
render to texture screen going on in
deploy carrier.
there. You guys may have
I
just
think it's
found
the-
something that you
it-
weren't supposed to know about. Sorry, I have to delete this VOD.
oh, are you streaming on?
You
the
can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of me. I
Oh.
know everything.
So, Rad, I thought you were on the payroll, but it turns out that the conspiracy is against you.
My God.
Wait, Rad, are you streaming on Twitch then?
No,
No, I was
I'm
being
streaming
deceived.
here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, he was lying to you.
I was being the overzealous
He
moderator.
was, he was
was
being a
being
dirty
deceived.
liar.
Mind you, isn't that what?
But yeah,
is
like,
about warfare?
most-
By being here, you've all signed an NDA and you agree to turn over all your property.
Obviously, I'll sell my soul to Microprose.
Is my house at risk if I don't keep up payments and shit?
Hey, by the way, we said this in the wishlist chat, but Microprose merch when? I need myself a new Microprose shirt that I don't buy off the random nobody that is gonna print a random thing that looks like
Such a
nothing.
funny nose.
I just want it to deploy right now and just knock you into the ocean.
I would
Actually,
too.
there has to be a button to deploy this thing, right?
Oh no, it's just decorative.
Yeah, but why is there a functional screen in it?
Actually, where's the door?
I think that would be it.
Is there like a carrier self-destruct button in the command?
Yeah, there is.
Is
Yeah,
this a
there
nuclear
is.
carrier?
You can scuttle.
You know, it's funny, like, you'd think that when a nuclear submarine or something sinks, that'd be disastrous, but the whole ocean basically just acts as like a big cooling thing, doesn't it? So
it really depends on the situation. I believe there've been some pretty bad nuclear incidents. For example, I'm trying to remember the name. The Russian sub that went down, that was like their flagship.
The Mike?
No.
The Kursk?
Okay, press the big
Yes,
button.
yes, the Kursk. They, the core was like...
No, run the lifeboat.
But when they went in...
Oh, I didn't activate it. I hit abort because
The Russians had to bring in another country, it's slipping my mind which.
the UK.
Norway?
No, it was like Netherlands or the Norway. Or
Norway.
something.
Yeah.
And they
Oh,
took
yeah. Wait, which one are we talking about?
precautions entering that sub, because they weren't sure if the nuclear reactor was compromised by it was a ballistic missile that had exploded in one of the tubes as they tried to launch it for the test, and that they didn't know which one.
Yeah. You know what I hate about that is that those men could have been saved if the Russian military and high command didn't dawdle.
Oh, but I mean that's the case with any. You can't really blame them, to be honest. It's like it's a submarine. Logistics are extremely hard. They didn't have the boats that could have done recovery.
The thing is, though, the UK and the Norway were willing to help, but they wouldn't accept it.
Yeah, but they knew how long they lasted, and they didn't have enough time. They could have rescued maybe a few.
It's more the principle. Like,
the government got bashed heavily for that. But I mean, to be completely honest, it's fault. It was, if anything, they just thought the sub was invincible and it went wrong. What happens?
It was mostly because I think they were using hydrogen peroxide torpedoes, which is very hard to maintain, and with the collapse of the Soviet Union, they simply didn't have the resources to maintain that kind of shit.
Were they hydrogen peroxide?
I think they were. The US, NATO, they got rid of hydrogen peroxide torpedoes ages ago because they were dangerous.
I'm looking.
If you go inside the lifeboat, you probably find Tom Hanks there. Just saying.
Okay, run to the lifeboat.
Winston!
I mean,
It's not working. It's not working.
I don't have any more information than you, but oh wow.
That is pretty explosions.
It is, yeah.
The seeing anti-air missiles and shit hitting aircraft is fucking glorious. Seeing sea whiz go off is real nice.
They definitely put a lot of work into that lifeboat for it to just be a static, right?
I mean, there's crew quarters and there's no gameplay reason actually, there's no gameplay reason to ever leave the bridge. So why did they model the rest of the ship? It's cool. That's
really
basically
cool.
it.
You know,
Is that for the RP players? Wait a minute.
I guess.
It's possible.
Oh, man.
But yeah, see, just after this text he's gonna turn. There's actually an escape capsule, so there you go.
You know, it's funny. How like back in the day we were dealing with resolutions of like 300 by 200, and that was fine to play Doom. And then I went to play Fleet Defender, and then that resolution all of a sudden becomes a problem.
Right.
Just like.
And now I'm having the opposite problem with Hive Fleet only supporting 1080p. Though it should be fine on 1440. So has that been tested yet?
So my understanding, it's more about aspect ratio, not actual resolution.
DJ Khaled suffering from success.
So
like you can obviously scale to any screen, even if it's not native. But they were saying, and Sergio, if he's still here, can probably correct me if I'm wrong. But
yep, Sergio's still here.
The aspect ratio in the UI, they just it's really hard when you have a UI that's that dense and it's always present. If that was just a 2D user menu that you went to once in a while, how I understand it, it would be different and you could have a dynamic, flexible UI. But in that case, it's you would have to design two very different user interfaces for largely different aspect ratios.
So I'm probably fine since my screen's 16 by 9 still.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, at the very worst, you're gonna upscale it, right? So,
oh wow, I'm gonna upscale it. Oh no.
I mean, that's the worst case. So.
I mean, I'm on 1440p resolution, and I have no doubt whatsoever that it's gonna look fine.
I really think
I'm still at Peasant Vision.
1440p is this sweet golden lock zone.
Hey, click that screen onto the back right. Look, we can even click that screen, but there's nothing on it.
Yeah, there is.
Well, I mean, okay.
That's the Microprose logo.
Wait, why does that have a space?
So I'm telling you guys, we need when everybody has the game, we need to figure this out because there has to be a sequence of switches and buttons that trigger some Easter eggs or something in there.
A, B, left, right, up, down, up.
Yeah, there's something in there. Like, they cannot just put all the buttons and not make them do something weird.
What? It's like a real life cockpit. They just have a bunch of buttons that don't do anything to make it look like flying an airplane's harder than it really is.
But that's what's ironic. When you jump in the game, if you see a button, you can click it, period. All of them are do something. There's no cosmetic button on the bridge of Carrier Command.
And then there's the lifeboat, which we don't know how to open.
I said on the bridge.
True.
Yeah, imagine if it was Titanic. Get to the lifeboat. Sorry, display purposes only.
Oh, man.
Nice.
I've made it out of the bowels of the ship. Time to evac. Display purposes only.
That's brutal.
It's made out of the same stuff as those fake fruits that you see in fruit bowls.
Oh, that'd probably float, though.
Oh, that would float.
Can you move the joystick?
No.
It doesn't look like you have much legroom at all.
What
No.
kind of ship would this be?
Space Force.
A very fast one.
Oh, it's-
I mean, I think those are the pedals right there. So
So it's a preview for Carrier Command 3 Space Force.
I'd play that.
I mean, not gonna lie, I would too.
So
And then
I'd
then
just like to
Carrier
point out, if there was a Space Force game, all you would be doing is moving satellites around in orbits. So it's basically Kerbal Space Program.
No.
Insane.
No, you wouldn't be moving satellites around in orbit. No, you'd be starting with logistics, filling out a spreadsheet.
Oh, exactly. 100%. I'm
you gotta deal with supply every time.
Thing you would ever do is move a satellite around in orbit.
Most of the game would just be dealing with supply.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of Derail Valley, which is like half train simulator and half dealing with paperwork.
Oh my god.
You would just be Trump patting you on the back. Nothing else.
You're basically just a mercenary train driver. because you're not employed by the railway company. You buy licenses for your trains, and you have to pay for all the fuel and stuff that you use. And you only get paid on like a per delivery basis.
Huh, that's how a heavy equipment owner operator works. But I don't know if there are people who are a train owner operator.
Well, to be fair, that's kind of how it works in the UK. Like the track is owned, the infrastructure is owned by Network Rail, and the companies that operate the services, they borrow trains from the train leasing companies for a certain amount of time, and then they put them up in their own liveries and stuff, and then they do whatever they need to do with them. I mean, our railway system sucks anyway, so it's not like it's one that works.
Meanwhile, the United States railway system.
It's funny, the UK, we invented the railways, yet we probably have the worst one in the first world.
I don't know about that. We don't really have high-speed rails in the US at all. You guys do, right?
Yeah,
you have one high-speed rail, to my knowledge, right?
Well, we're building one. All the main railways are based on 200-year-old infrastructure.
Sure. Yeah, I've taken a lot of trains in the UK, but there's no operational high-speed.
There are high-speed trains, but I don't think there's. And there are fast high-speed main lines, but they're also building a high-speed, more direct line from Scotland to London, which is
right.
And apparently a lot of people have had to have been kicked out of their homes because the track's going to go right through it.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
That's always the case when they do that.
Yeah, but as always in the UK, it's all to benefit London.
Sure. Bringing traffic in.
Wait, why don't they just replace the Thames with a railway? It'd probably be more useful.
Oh, but that would get rid of the what you call it, the tourist attraction. Oh no!
Right.
The nostalgia.
Hey, you have.
I just
Sorry.
want, like, a foreign TV show that takes place in the UK. Why does it always have to be in London? Why can't it be in like Manchester or like Birmingham or
you. That's
Newcastle?
London's the only place in the UK. What are you talking about?
The UK is only London.
Yeah, it's London and then maybe a bit of Scotland. Wales
It's
doesn't
London
exist.
and the greater Londinium metropolitan area.
Exactly.
Yeah, like Liverpool, Manchester,
Okay.
Hull, Birmingham.
Okay, we don't want to
Everett.
put Liverpool on TV.
Wait a second. Why hasn't there been a TV show set in the city of London?
What?
Okay,
Yeah.
did you know there's a small London inside of London?
Yeah,
Oh,
Greater
It's a
London.
legally different city.
Yeah, I get what you're saying now. I was like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, London's really shit in that you have to pay to drive into the city centre.
What?
I think it's like a
What
congestion.
the fuck
tax
is
or
wrong
something.
Yeah,
with,
it's because
with
we don't
England,
have
yo?
enough room there. It's just all small 200-year-old roads.
Yeah, but it is apparently the best city in the UK.
Best quotation marks.
When Manchester applied to like become the host for the 2012 Olympics, everyone just laughed at them. But then London comes and, hey, we'd like to host the. It's like, oh my god, that's such a great idea! Oh my god, let me suck off the Queen's crusty old vagina.
All right. Easy now, bud.
Okay.
Speaking of the UK and roads, for anyone over there, last time I was over there, we were introduced to this brilliant piece of invention called the Magic Roundabout. Are you familiar? Not the one.
Oh god. No, I know.
So I'm actually going to go ahead and use a second batch of questions.
Was that Ian McCollum?
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on ForgottenWeapons.com. I'm Ian
I'm
McCollum,
Ian
and I'm
McCollum.
here today at the Rock Island Auction Company, taking a look at some of the firearms that they are going to be selling in their upcoming April of 2021 premiere auction.
Okay.
Amazing. Whoa, I didn't know Ian McCollum was in this chat.
Yeah, France good.
France good. Yeah, there we go. We got him, boys.
Damn, I didn't know Ian McCollum actually had an English accent. It's crazy.
Yeah, Ian McCollum is actually half English.
Damn.
Which hair product do you use?
L'Oreal for men.
Okay. That's why he loves so many French guns.
Shoshar is underrated. There, I said it.
Jesus
Actually,
Christ.
though,
I will go to war with my FAMAS. You know, it's funny, the FAMAS is unironically my favorite bullpup. Like, not even, like, all joking aside, specifically the G2.
The only bullpup that you can have that you have to love. The
Oh yeah, the bullpup we have is
Space
the
Method.
L85, which is kind of like the stunted stepchild of the bullpup world.
the bullpup I probably enjoy the most would have to be the Desert Tech MDR in 762.
Is that the one with the forward ejection thing?
Yes, one of two with the forward eject. The other one's the F-2000, which,
Yeah. That pushes it along a tube, like along the barrel and out the front. The Desert Tech does it like directly at the ejection port, like just spits them forward. Like,
Yep.
it's ingenious, I think. But I think if I had to go to war with any rifle, it would be an M16.
Oh, definitely.
What?
Spare parts.
That long
reliability.
barrel. I mean, the reason I choose the M16 over the M4, that longer barrel. I mean, 223 is a round dependent
Wait a
on its
minute,
velocity.
I mean, if you're talking about very tightly issued things, but I mean, yeah,
Maybe
M16 extremely outdated in terms of technology. Like, I would honestly take a decent AK made in a good country over an M16 any day in terms of reliability.
No, like the M4s that are in service today, they're not really any different than an M16.
Yeah, the M16 is as reliable as any good craft AK.
People who say the M16 is unreliable are people who who are M14 fanboys who cling on to the whole, it was unreliable in Vietnam, but that's all been fixed now, but they choose to ignore it.
Well, no, 100%. Like, it has been fixed now. Like, if you get a good M16 now, I'm talking about when they were in real service, and because I know they're still in service, but they're completely different guns at this point. That's kind of my point.
Well, the M16 originally, the problems came from a different powder, there was a different loading from when it was tested with, and no cleaning kits.
They literally told the troops, they're self-cleaning.
Well, you gotta think about the biggest difference between the main two battle rifles that have ever really been produced. The most proliferated weapons, the M4 line and Kalashnikov AK line, is tolerance, and everyone talks about tolerance, and they don't really understand what tolerance means. The M4, descending from the M16, went through a lot of tolerance issues over its lifetime, and you really got to consider that. So, like, that's why the M16 back then is not the M16 today.
Yeah, definitely. There's been significant advances in material design.
And like, I have a lot of respect for a lot of different weapons, and everyone's like, I have my favorite, and they all have advantages. The M16 that I've fired mostly was an old one, and it had the most cyclic issues of any semi-automatic rifle I've ever fired. It was.
I can say that if you ever fire a weapon, pray it's not a government issue one, because those ones are beaten to hell. Like, I've already told like, some of you already know the fucking M4 mag exploded on me while I was doing M4 rifle quals.
But don't you understand? Those
fired around, and then I just hear like this scream, and then there's all the rounds on the floor. It's like, I don't know what to do with this, dude.
Squib load, or did the magazine just...
No, so these mags get taken apart a lot because GMs are idiots and don't know how to clean, so they have to constantly re-clean things. And so, fucking, you'll fire a round, and the pressure from it kicking back, because it will slightly push down the retainer. It'll slightly push down the round so it can grab another one. And then the pressure from that will hit the spring, and the spring will fucking pop the bottom plate, and then all your rounds will just fall to the ground.
That's hilarious.
Aren't the US using PMags now?
Yeah. Well,
no,
not the Navy. Navy's still using the old Stanag metal one.
The old Stanag meant to be disposable magazines.
PMag has a really big issue in hot climates.
Because it's plastic.
It deforms over time. They're really quite durable, but it deforms in high heat over time to where it will not seat properly.
And then the guys thought, wait, why don't we paint them in black? Which makes the heat problems even worse.
Kind of, yeah. There's a few plastic magazines out there that have right where it inserts into the lower receiver, it has a metal plate. Several different designs do that, and then it doesn't deform. But the actual mag holes suck, man.
You know, we were talking about tolerance earlier, but everyone says oh, the AK is very reliable because it has very wide tolerances. But if you look at InRange's mud test, the AK did worse than the AR-15, precisely because it's all very well having large tolerances, but it's important to keep. If you keep the mud out of the tolerances in the first place, it will do.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and anyone who's using it correctly is not going to let that occur.
Yeah.
That was a flawed test.
Unless you have a vehicle in a muddy environment and you have
You're falling through a mud puddle.
Yeah.
I think they did do a convoy dust test with an AK and an AR as well.
Yeah. The AK performed much better in the dust test because the action actually just crushed the rocks.
Or it just allows it to
AKs
fall out.
are really, really good in very dirty and very cold conditions, where the M4 kind of falls over in those conditions.
The AK will do better when it's dry in dusty conditions.
Right.
So no lubricant for the dust to get stuck to.
Yeah, and M4 you simply have to pay more. Pretty much all they're good. The whole family, all the way back to the M16, the M4.
I do like the older. I kind of wish I lived in the US so I could buy one of the Brownells retro ARs, M16s.
I have a Mark 18 clone that I built.
Oh, the Mark 18, the really short AR.
Yeah, they're fun.
Well, I think Daniel Defense actually sells a ready-to-buy SBR Mark 18.
That's who created it. Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
And my favorite, pistol ARs.
With a pistol brace. Oh no, it's not a rifle because the thing that's not a stock. That's a pistol brace.
Yep.
Here we go.
My favorite law loophole right there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Also the Shockwave shotgun. Oh yeah, it's not a shotgun because it doesn't have a stock. It's not a pistol because it's designed to be fired two-handed, and it's not any other weapon because it's over a specific length. Amazing.
Yep. Personally, though, I'm happy about it because I'm not in favor of gun laws personally.
I don't know, I don't mind some sort of gun. I'm fine with our gun laws because we do have very low gun crime rates, but I do understand why some people would feel, uneasy, because the argument is often brought up that criminals will not obey the law, and there's pros and cons to each because criminals by nature don't follow the law, but if there's fewer guns in the country in general because of these laws, there's fewer opportunities for them to get hold of them.
Doesn't matter, I know a guy who got a gun here illegally.
It's
surprisingly easy.
From all the people I spoke over the years about this, because obviously I'm from a place where there's pretty heavy gun restriction. I'm in Quebec and Canada.
Yeah.
And the biggest difference comes in perspective regarding gun laws comes from your upbringing, for the most part. If you're brought up in a place where guns are typically allowed and desired to be...
He's dead. Got assassinated by the Quebec.
Someone with a gun got him.
I just shoot air rifles these days. That's good enough for me, really.
Radlioodle, were you able to get mantas and wadus? Or you didn't have...
Air rifles are pretty fun because pellets are just really cheap, and they give you the same target shooting experience.
Not really. You don't have the big boom.
I don't have to wear ear protection, I'll say that.
You also don't get the range experience out past 100 yards.
Oh, come on, it's fun lobbing, pellets, with a holdover, though.
Past 100 yards. So you haven't seen those air rifles that have the same pressures as modern 7.62 cartridges.
Oh yeah, like in the UK, rifles that are over 12 foot-pounds in energy are classified as a firearm.
Yep, not a firearm in the US. I have thought of buying one multiple times, but then I just realized I might as well just buy an AR instead. Basically the same price as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say. The price
I think they are a great training platform, like just to like get the train the basics of like handling and safety and stuff.
Yeah.
I've taught a lot of women specifically how to shoot, and I always put the biggest, scariest gun in their hands first, so that every other time they shoot, they're not scared of it. I just give them a big gun, let them shoot it, and then never be.
Oh yeah, but then there's also those fools who give them like a snub-nosed like 38 special. It's a small gun, but it kicks like a mule because it's a snub-nosed 38.
It's a great idea. I don't know what you're talking about.
And then other problems with those, if you're using them improperly, they're so small you can get your fingers in front of the barrel and not realize
Yeah,
it.
absolutely can.
Yeah, but long barrels are better for like just recoil.
Yeah. Big, heavier gun, less recoil. Who would have thunk?
Yeah,
a
I've never
snub-nosed
shot
Magnum.
competition, but those competition rifles are heavy for that reason. Big barrels.
I mean, short-barreled like handguns aren't necessarily any less mechanically accurate, but as a practical matter, they are harder to shoot.
If you strap them down to a bench, they're pretty accurate.
Yeah.
At a certain range, once their velocity deteriorates, they're not.
A stub-nosed Magnum's even worth it because isn't just like the extra powder just going to get burnt up outside the barrel as muzzle flash?
In my opinion, Magnum rounds are never worth it in a self-defense scenario.
So a 357 revolver is like worse than a 9mm.
Yeah, in my opinion. I'd rather be able to get something with smaller, higher capacity just in case there's multiple assailants.
Yeah, I think I'd have like some. I was gonna say you know what I was gonna say? I was gonna say a Colt 1903 pocket hammerless, but I just. Yeah, maybe if it was like 100 years ago, but like maybe something like a small SIG.
Dude, there are so many really nice compact 9mm guns nowadays.
Yeah,
I like the SIG Shield is a beautiful gun.
I would like an old Colt, like or something 1903 pocket hammerless, because old guns do have a lot of charm to them. Like, oh yeah, Colt Detective Special in like 32.
Due to recent revelations, I'm gonna have to correct you. That's now called the CZ Colt. I cannot believe that.
I kind of wish they'd buy Remington, but then the rest would go to the CZ guns instead.
Isn't Marlin owned by Freedom Arms as well?
Mic test. Hello.
Hello. Welcome back.
There we go.
Welcome to the High Fleet unofficial support group.
Hey man, I created that. Well, maybe not, but still.
Radio?
We just need the one guy who's been following the game on VK since it was originally teased.
Is this a known person or like a
High Fleet enthusiast in the text chat?
Oh, nice.
Guys, we have a celebrity.
Rad.
Boom.
Hey,
Yeah,
Rad,
you're
do you
right.
get a
Origins are really neat.
Rad? Do you get a feeling they took cover in there on purpose, or they were bugged there?
They're probably bugged.
Yeah, right.
That smoke looks like Cthulhu tentacles.
Mic check, test 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, okay, because I tried to talk something about the game, but I'm not sure if it came ever through. I want to ask if you were able to get Varus or Mantas going? No?
I already have a fucking... Where is it? Oh, in the previous match I already had an chassis and clan chassis factory, and I could only build seals and razor bills. And every time I've had an air chassis factory, you can only build razor bills.
Okay, so no Mantas and no Varus in this
That's just due
playtest.
to the current build, though.
Yeah, I just want to ask if he was able to do so, because I had to go offline.
No,
yeah,
the
not
way
in a
we
playtest.
Yeah.
we understand it works is if you need to capture multiple islands to get better blueprints. So since there's
Not
only a
well,
limited amount
I'm
of
on-
islands right now, we
I'm-
only get one
Yeah.
type of chassis.
Yeah.
I just have to throw in the disclaimer of not finished product and all that. You know.
I
this
know.
one.
Yeah.
I just.
Oh, you
I
were
just
asking in general. I thought you were asking like a playtest.
I wasn't.
Yeah,
able
yeah.
to-
In the regular game, yeah, you'll be able to build them.
I have watched this stream nearly from the beginning, but I wasn't able to watch the last 2 or 3 hours because I was a child, and I wasn't sure about how much more stuff he have found. He has found.
Yeah.
I'm checking Steam every day for a new devlog on the Sea Power thing. So, but
You
and
need
every
both.
every day I'm sad when I don't see it because
Yeah,
that,
like,
that
this can
game
look pretty good.
it's giving me like Strike Fighters 2 North Atlantic vibes, like just by setting and time frame.
Well, some of my friends are calling me off to play Tarkov. I'll see you guys later.
Have a
Okay,
good
bye.
one.
Good suffering.
Welcome. Oh, I was gonna say you can come back to the support group anytime.
I was about to
So
make a joke about waiting for an update on the Mighty 8, but
Ooh, too soon or too late?
I don't know anymore.
It will always be too soon.
There are no beans yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, other games that I'm looking forward to coming out are okay, I've forgotten now. Wrath, Aeon of Ruin. But that's not really a sim, it's more of like an old first-person shooter type thing. No, actually, Rise of the Triad Remastered, that's one.
Video games, am I right?
Video games!
That's what it's about right there.
So how's it feel to play them? Carrier command?
It feels pretty
Is it
good. Yeah, there are no complaints as to like just general gameplay.
It looks really cool.
Is the AI well built or are they a bit junky?
Sometimes they're all right, and then there's like weird quirks you have to work around, like getting the AI to dock with the carrier. That takes a bit.
Try it again when you're done with that island. Like, get them all to dock at the same time and see if you can bug the last seal. Because that's a perfect example.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
do they like queue up and then go in one at a time? Or...
They queue up and go in at one at a time, but if for some reason, if you queue all of them at the same time, they like bug out really weirdly.
Yeah. The planes, you see the air traffic map up there, and the planes will just circle the carrier in order and wait for their landing turn.
Yeah,
So that's pretty much more orderly. The ground units kind of go a set distance behind the carrier before going for the ramp, but seems like they have a bit of a trouble communicating with each other as to what order to go, and the last seal then lose brain cells. It's the best I can explain it. You have to see it to understand.
Did you guys said that you submitted some feedback? Where did you do that on?
Rad did.
You have to do it from the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's embedded in the Steam setup that they use for testing. But they did. I think Sergio created a channel in the CC2 section for playtest. So if you notice anything, just type it in there.
Yep.
This carrier itself looks like an old one, with the straight deck, not the angled one.
One of the feature I think all of us mentioned and Rad put in the feedback as well is it'd be nice if we could spot airplanes on the deck because there's plenty of space instead of having them queued up to launch. And the simple trade-off would be
going down into the hangar every time and then coming back.
Yeah, Like the basic idea here is if you want to re-equip or change the re-outfit them,
Armaments.
you go under any hangar. But if they're on the deck, they can launch faster, but they're susceptible to attack. You know.
You mean
Oh.
as a suggestion, not how it currently?
Yeah, it's a suggestion because right now they just queue up one at a time from the hangar, and I calculated if you want to launch 8 aircraft, it's going to take anywhere between 5 minutes 30 seconds to 6 minutes.
Interesting.
Which is okay, but there's if we had an option to spot aircraft on the deck for quick launch, it would be an interesting.
Have, just on standby.
Like
yeah,
5 or something.
Yeah, it'd be a really interesting decision you have to make, and the risk, like I said, the risk would be to get your airplane shut up on the
I was just
on the
about
deck.
to say, I mean, that's a really famous. I'm pretty sure Midway, World War II against the Japanese and the Americans, and the Japanese were just killing the U.S. fighters that day, and then their huge mistake. It was almost a fatal flaw of that entire engagement. They left their aircraft vulnerable on the carrier as they were loading bombs, and there was all those live bombs on the deck, and the Americans got one hit, blew up everything.
Yeah, I mean,
that was a huge vulnerability, but I mean, they were trying to launch.
That's what happened to 3 of their carriers. We had launched our dive bombers, they all went off in random directions because they didn't know where they were going, and they just so happened to coincidentally end up with carriers at the exact same time.
Yep.
On the Kaga, they had most of their planes below deck actually, and a bomb had penetrated through it and lit up fuel in there. And I think for Kaga, it had struck the deck, set those planes alight. I think it was Hiryu. The same thing happened.
Mm-hmm.
But I forget. It's been a while since I looked at the.
And it's
I
fairly.
remember that it was the first carrier that got hit that day.
Yeah.
The Japanese fleet that there was just littered with munitions on the deck, and they all went up. It was just devastating.
And it's fairly easy for us to say it was a mistake now, but at the same time, Nagumo did not make a wrong decision based on the information they had.
It was
strategy. They had a doctrinal issue, especially with their scouting and radar.
There was a lot
problem.
In Pacific Crucible, they make mention that the Japanese had war games, and this is just a random side note, but they had rolled the dice, and it came up as 3 carriers struck, 1 moderately damaged, and they're like, "What? No, that's impossible. They could never get a sneak attack like that." And they eliminated like 1 carrier moderately damaged, and then what do you know? What happened in Midway? 3 carriers, 1 moderately damaged.
Yeah,
and they
but at the same
like 100 U.S. aircraft that day.
Yeah, but at the same time, based on the information he had at the moment he took the decisions, there's very little better he could have done, and that's his intelligence. Like Japanese intelligence did not help him whatsoever. They had nothing for him. They dropped the ball, and since their code was cracked, it's screwed up. So it's a fascinating. Like I love everything about Midway because it's absolutely a fascinating tactical and strategic review of what happened and how it happened. But his decision, for all intent and purpose,
Midway has never been discussed in this Discord server before. It's just never happened.
Yeah, never.
I mean, yeah, I was probably not in the proper channels to do that. Sorry about that.
Oh, dude, I'm messing with you.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to discuss Midway, but first I'd like to announce this video's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh God. But yeah, all this to say that helicopters, the way they take off right now in current command and land is, I'm not okay with the way the helicopters are handled, but whatever.
Slower, right?
They're slow, and they use the runway just like a plane without
right.
It's kind of weird.
They go up. So the way a helicopter will do it, they'll run up to there, and then they'll stop right there for a solid minute, and then start their spin up.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they land at the tip, just like when a plane lands, they land all the way at the tip of the deck there, and then start to back up. Well, the helicopter will land directly at the tip, and then back up to the elevator.
I know it differs on different types of carriers, but usually they'll have like a bunch of different spots, and they'll land and then clear them off the deck, and usually stow them above board. while something like fixed wing comes in and out. Rad.
Does it
probably.
Yeah, and I mean,
Sorry.
So
I was just gonna say, I'm not
carrier
asking for
operations-
too complex of a solution here, but the deck we have there is so wide. There's so much room to park planes and do something better with the helicopters. At the end of the day, it's not game breaking. You know, it's not a huge complaint, but it looks
Like-
awkward.
Well,
at least the helicopters are small enough to like fit in there.
Can you go forward on the deck? Like, yeah, right there. I mean, you got room. I'm just wondering, because I don't know just what the scope of that launch sequence is in terms of, game.
Yeah, it's probably like, I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying this for the game flow, because game flow wise, it's pretty okay. It's just that it feels unnatural that an helicopter would do all of that in that way. You know, like, why is it landing at the other end of the carrier just to back up on its wheels to the elevator, just like a plane does? It just doesn't feel natural.
Are there no arresting wires?
Well, yeah, that's fine. It's a future carrier. Like, I can excuse a lot. It's a future carrier.
So the way to think about it is it's more like an LHD because
That's
it
what I
doesn't.
was thinking,
It has a Weldek at the back.
But
Yeah.
how
but
do you,
even then,
I'm gonna
LHDs
jump
have.
off.
specific
How, guy-
helicopter landing.
Cheers,
how
bud.
would you explain the port side island?
But yeah, look at this space you got on near the torpedo launcher there. You could spot a combat air patrol, right there, ready to launch. That'd be cool. That'd be a cool feature. It's not a bug. It's not a problem. It'd just be a really cool feature.
Yeah. Totally.
I need to look off. I'll talk to you guys later. Have fun.
Cheers,
See you
bud.
there, Gio. Have a good one, man.
And please give us some feedback for those that are on the playtest. Please do give us some feedback on the channel. We'll be monitoring that with developers as well.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. See you.
See you,
Right?
man.
Hey, what is that launcher you got on the side that you were looking at? On the right.
This?
No, that's a
Oh.
phalanx. This.
Yeah, this is I think
What those torpedoes? Right?
or no, these are torpedo launchers.
Oh, right.
These are, I'm pretty sure, missile countermeasures. It looks very much like a China.
What is that? I couldn't understand you really.
This looks like it would launch like a chaff pod, which is sort of like
Countermeasures.
it's just tinfoil
Yeah.
confetti that
So you could say
just
they're the
blinds
flare.
radar by distributing all the RF and shit. Or
Yeah, that
this
makes
would be
sense.
like a bright as fuck.
Can you manually launch one? See if we're right.
I've tried launching the countermeasures. That actually might be the flare launcher, but we'll have to see. Run up there real
Yeah,
quick because
gotcha.
you can launch a bunch of flares.
It's funny since we can barely just make out the audio when you're walking around. All I hear is the pitter patter of the feet. Tap 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 tap.
It's like the submarine picks up the tabs of the feet on the deck, and is wondering what kind of ship is that?
Oh, they're going. Let's check.
What if they're gone?
I mean, you may have already found out
Yeah.
that the island is on the wrong side, but how do you guys feel about that?
Yeah, they mentioned that yesterday, and I just realized, and it didn't occur to me. Nope.
I mean, I'm completely fine with that.
I mean, there's really no reason the island couldn't be on that side, right?
At least not in modern times. Now, the position of the island being on the port side has only not been a thing due to in World War II planes had a tendency to veer leftwards when they're landing or crashing. So if you had an island on the port side, they would crash right into that instead of going into the water.
Off
Which-
this other side. Yep.
So But due to the fact that jet engines don't have that problem, islands are still on the right side because that's just the way it's been done. It's how we've always trained. There really isn't a reason to change it.
So in the future, we just went, screw this, we're going to be rebels, and that's how we get this carrier.
Basically, they're like, fuck it, why not? There's no reason to change it.
Yeah, be right back.
Something I've actually never really looked into, but I've wondered several times. Maybe you know this, Rad. Why are LHD's runways completely parallel? Is it literally just because they're not launching fighter aircraft at that same airspeed? That's it.
Yeah, they don't need an upping because they don't need to launch fighters or like launch or land fighters at the same time. They serve a totally different role. Most LHD they primarily carry like an LHD carries primarily helicopters. It's all it carries, essentially. It'll carry attack air, like AH-1Zs, maybe. But most of the time, it's like CH-35s and V-22s. And LHA, which is like an LHD but without a well deck, it can't launch amphibious shit. That will carry like Harriers or F-35s or sometimes, just those two.
Those are pretty modern, too. I don't think they've been around for a long time. Without the ability to have vehicles.
LHDs came first, and then LHAs popped up. Yeah, that's why LHDs don't have an angled runway.
Do you mind me asking what kind of ship you served on or serve on?
Destroyer.
Oh, cool.
It's the DDG-88 at the current moment. USS Preble. We're getting fucking. We're in the yards at the moment. Obviously, as I said 1,000 fucking times. Getting all them upgrades. Fancy shit.
Come on, you know the internet's this good in the Atlantic, right?
Yeah, sure. I'm in fucking San Diego though. Ooh. I'd say like the most impressed thing I am with is like the whole interior of the ship. It feels appropriately claustrophobic.
Yeah, definitely getting that sense. Which is funny because, as you noted, there's not really gameplay per se.
Yeah.
You're still running around the ship, it's. I wonder if the developers were thinking this will just be something someone will do once and never do again, and you're constantly running around. Very interesting.
Yeah, because it's just cool. I like it. It's fun shit. Like, look at that! You're down on the hangar. Why wouldn't they go and check this out?
Yeah.
That looks like a gate.
Yeah, that's another right. Yep. Have you recovered a vehicle and been down here before?
Yeah, I've done it plenty of times. I got screenshots.
I didn't see that.
Put it all down there.
And I'm back. What did I miss?
Everything,
man.
Shit.
Yeah, we started World War III and ended it in like an instant because we just said like, "Hey man, my bad. Sorry I like blew up a boat."
Hey man, my bad. I blew up a boat. Okay, yeah. I completely buy that story.
Oh, I'm sorry. I blew up a boat, but if you surrender, we can end World War III right now. And they surrendered.
So that sounds legit. So where's your last seal?
It ran into the lava.
Tactical error.
All right. I swear, by the time you finish your playtest, you're gonna have found all the way to murder your own units.
I am an expert at that.
I wish you could clean them. Like if you take the time to go down there manually, just take a hose and just.
Exactly. We need a simulation like Visceral Cleanup Simulator. The guy where you have to clean up the battlefield is with a bot, pick up all the aviation parts. I mean, they also could put down a fork here, so you can unload the barge manually. Yeah, sorry, I'm German. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And of course, elevator controls and physics, 10 out of 10. Easily the best. Easily the best elevator physics.
It's ridiculous, but it stands out because you know that in so many games where they have an elevator or something, there's no physical way, obstructed or not, to reach this higher floor than using the elevator in so many games. And this is such a simple thing. It stands out.
No stairs, you mean, or no emergency shaft?
Yeah, or the stairs are inexplicably blocked by like travel cases.
Oh yeah.
Like it's silly, but
I know exactly what you mean.
It's kind of immersion breaking when you're funneled at that single path of no options. And in a game like this that does not even need it, it stands out because you can go wherever you want, however you want.
I already beached.
Yeah, I wanted to see how long it would take.
We're beached again.
Hey, we went max speed. I wanted to go max speed and like see how hard you could hit an island. It's done a pretty good amount of damage.
So, can you do something? Find an island that has a ramp-like, ground that you can just go max speed and see if you can actually get airborne. Let's go Gaia mission on this game.
It'll take a minute, but it'll get there.
So what speed did you go to get beach that hard?
Oh, I just put it to max, so it's usually like 100 plus knots or so.
Hoping for that I would be able to play carrier one once, but it will be pretty hard.
It's such a simple thing, but the elevator is the coolest.
What?
Man, yeah, I just launched a couple.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Couple seals and then.
So you know what being able to explore the interior really does. It takes up your downtime.
Yep.
Or otherwise you'd just be sitting there watching and waiting for something to transition, right?
Well, this is where I don't think that's actually very accurate, because from what we saw so far, and this is very unlike Gaia Mission, which, thank God, but the range of everything you got is so large that on single player it's not as easy to see, but especially when you're going to be multiplayer, you can be doing a lot of things at the same time. And since right now like you ran the playtest so many times that it's just more testing stuff right now, but in a real campaign situation, you have scout units going over an island like 2 islands away. You got your interception going to the northeast on the other side. You got these guys shooting at you from random nowhere that you have to do something about. Like you have a lot of options, and the open. Backwards. Oh no! There you go.
When they get on land, they do fine, but most of the time they just go backwards.
Okay, now they're switching. Interesting.
Yeah, when they get on land, they they know to turn around. But I think water is just weird to them.
Well, it goes to what we were saying, right? Walrus don't know how to swim.
It's a seal.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, you have so many things to do that you can do. The only way you have downtime is if you're actually not doing anything.
Nah, I think it's just between the islands. I mean, if you're playing solo, that's true, probably.
Yeah, it's far more like an LHD than a regular carrier, especially with how like solid the walls are or the bulkhead.
But I mean, even multi, like you see like right now, wherever he is, he can send his plane all the way to the other island. There's nothing stopping him. So even with multiplayer, you just control the vehicle that have something to do actively. That's my point.
If I'm sitting at this island, I can send a plane to go scout out this one. Or if like I'm here, I can send a plane there and check it out, which I do while playing.
And as we talked about earlier as well, you can take a long-range plane, strap some fuel tanks on it, and send it in a tour behind the enemy islands just to see if you can sink his supply barge or something. So you can actually
do long-range artillery because the cruise missile has extreme range, and when one dude is like on the drone directing the missile, you have the rest of the crew getting stuff ready to get close and then hit the beaches and all that.
And obviously, I could be completely wrong because this is a very limited playtest, but from what I can see here, it seems to me like a time dilation would discourage players from actively engaging into long-range operation, which is where this game is probably going to shine more. Because if you try to just get
player, right?